Hi, this is On It Imagination with the Ethical Asshole. I am your host, the salty bitch. So, this is my disclaimer. I have never been diagnosed with ADHD. I do not acknowledge that label. I don't like it. Last night, I was watching a video, and in this video, they were going on about all these characteristics. I had no idea what I was watching. But what I did walk away with from this video was, oh my God, that is like all of my problems being summarized. And there was one particular problem, or let's call it a quirk. Let's call it a quirk that she had, that I have, that I'm very familiar with. And I didn't think anything of it because I adapt and I'm like, yeah, it's just my quirks. And my whole world revolves around my quirks. Like one of them was, oh, you're doing laundry? Yes, this is the third day of me doing laundry. I'm putting all of these clothes into the washing machine, and this is my third time washing this load, and maybe this time I will actually remember to move it to the dryer. I do this. I have this problem. I usually wash a load of clothes about 5 times. I know it's bad for the environment, and this is why I have a laundromat now. Like one of the reasons is because this is my, like, I cannot do mundane shit like laundry. So this one in particular, though, and I have to say this, at the end of the video, I realized, oh, it was a characteristics known to ADHD. And I'm like, oh, so interesting. But there's this one. It really hit me hard. She's sitting on the bed, just staring off into space. And her partner comes in and he says, hey, you want to go to the store? And she goes, no, I have a meeting in 8 hours. So I have to sit here and wait. I am in waiting mode. Oh my God, yes, this is my life, okay? This is my life. This is why I don't have a Calendly account. This is why I don't do booked meetings. This is why I can't work with clients. It's because I would literally be like, waiting mode. I have an appointment at 2 o'clock today. So I'm going to sit here now for 5 hours because I have an appointment. And then I would miss the appointment. This is why. I don't know what this is. I kind of don't care. I just know in this mental brain of mine, hey, Anna, you are not compatible with scheduling. No, I am not. I am not compatible because the moment there is an appointment on my book, I immediately go waiting mode. I can't do anything now for the next 8 hours until it's here because I will get distracted. So I have to be in waiting mode. And then waiting mode looks like this. Okay, it's not time yet. Oh, it's been 5 minutes since last I looked. Oh, it's been 2 minutes since last I looked. Waiting mode. No, I just don't do it. I don't schedule. This is why everything that I do is automated. It's why I have no schedule. It's why every time I decide I'm going to do this and I'm fine as long as there's no deadline or anything like that. But on my books, I have like, I'm going to do this every day. Yeah, for about 10 minutes and then I'm done with it. And I do this all the time with everything. And I'm like, and it's funny because I do have a rotation. It's just a really big rotation. Like I have literally 15 books that I'm writing right now. And I will go in, I will literally write 14 chapters for one book in one day. And then I'm done with it. And then in about 3 months, I'll go back and I'll finish the book. It's the way I work. So I currently have 14 books. Most of them are like half done. And now I'm back to the first rotation and I'm going through them and I'm finishing up. And then something will hit and I'll just drop an article. So it's not so much, and this is really how I manage it. And that's really the skill, is learning what your quirks are and then knowing how to manage your quirks. It's quirk management. This is what it is. It's quirk management. That's all I do. That's the only labeling system I have because I don't like any kind of labeling system. I don't have a diagnosis for any of this shit, and I think that's fucking bullshit. So I'm not going to do that. I just call it quirk management. That's what I call it. And there are a list of my quirks, and honestly, they're not quirks to me because they are just not the norm. And I know that it's not the norm. But actually, and this is my hypothesis, I am actually quite fucking normal because I'm tuned into Mother Nature. I'm actually the norm. And it's the unnatural man-made society that's not normal because I spent my whole life going, I just want to be normal. And that was like my number one manifestation. I want to be normal, which is really like my word for I want to be natural. So I'm actually normal. This is the way we're supposed to be. And I'm fine. I am 100% perfectly fantastic with all of this. I don't view it as anything. It's just I know how to manage it. And our society, is everyone listening to me, is not compatible with these quirks because it's unnatural. So then it breaks us out of this weirdness that they think is, oh, well, that's not okay. Oh, according to what metric, asshole? Freud shit? Where are you getting your metrics from? The Victorian era? Seriously, where are you getting your metrics from? So, because all of their data is literally from a whole bunch of structured Victorian 16th century archetypal crap that was defined around the Filmer time period. That's the 16th century. That's a fucking load of garbage. I don't do that shit. That's not natural. That's when they were pushing people into corsets and painting people's faces white. That's not natural. None of this is natural. We've broken slowly out of that conformist area, and now we are off into where we are now, and we're breaking free from it, going, oh my God, I can breathe now. And then there was that thing back in the 60s when we all burned our bras. We're getting out of there. We're slowly getting out of it. So I don't view it as anything. It's, to me, it's not deserving of a label because I'm fine. They're the ones with problems. They're the ones who are like, oh my God. It's like, okay, well, get out of your fucking unnatural sequence. So I live in the natural sequence, and in the natural sequence, we're not supposed to be on schedules because Mother Nature says so. I have my own circadian rhythm. It's called, I get up with the sun and I go to sleep after it's dark. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And I get up around 2 to 3 in the morning, every morning. And then I think about things, and then I go back to sleep again. That's it. That's my clock. And then there's this other clock of, it's getting colder. I need to like bundle up. And then there's the other clock of, it's getting warmer. I can wear less clothes. That's about it. Those are my clocks. Those are my 2 clocks. I got 2 clocks. Sun, moon, and cold, hot. That's it. That's what I got. That's what I got. Those are my 2 clocks. That's what I go by. If I'm tired, I sleep. If I'm hungry, I eat. You know, it's a really wonderful life. It really is a fantastic life. And every time I try and schedule anything that's like just not, it's not compatible with nature. It's just, and that's how I know it's not compatible with nature, because I'm not doing it. And so it's like, no, we're not doing this crap. So every time I schedule anything, and I immediately go into waiting mode of, okay, I'm just going to stand here and wait. And I'm like, no, this is not natural. We are not supposed to do this. So what I do for my management and learning how to build up an entire lifestyle around this, the hard part was getting all the unnatural people to shut the fuck up. Noisy know-nothings are the worst fucking thing in the world. As soon as I learned how to get the noisy know-nothings to shut the fuck up, I was great. There's vaunters and can't-doers and noisy know-nothings. These are the worst fucking people in the world, people. So vaunters, I'm going to tell you what vaunters are because you need this word in your vocabulary. Google it. It means empty. A vaunter is somebody who would boast something without any kind of anything to support it. They're liars. That's a vaunter. It's a liar. It's somebody who claims to be this great prestigious thing and isn't. It's the people who says, oh yeah, I can do it. I can do it. And then when it comes time to, they can't. That is a vaunter. They're frauds. They're scammers. They're fakes. A vaunter. We needed this word for a very long time in our society. Also look up the word hubris. This is another word you're going to be like, oh my God, where has this word been all my life? I know, right? So vaunter and hubris. Also throw in hypocrite. You probably know that one, but just refresh yourself because it's really great when you're trying to navigate in the crap that is the unnatural noisy know-nothings. So we've got the can't-doers, we've got the vaunters, and we've got the noisy know-nothings. And those 3 people, I'm just like, learning how to shut them up is a skill. And once you learn how to close the door on them and shut them up, oh, life is great. And it's funny because I'm sitting here writing, one of the books I'm writing right now is my business book. And one of the things that I was writing about last night was how much, like at the end of this journey I'm on, how much the can't-doers and the vaunters interfered with my process. Now, I have to say this because this is trailblazing. This is what I was writing on. I'm a trailblazer. I do things naturally, which means I do things against society because it's natural. And I understand there's a rhythm out here. There is a rhythm with nature, a very beautiful, predictable, natural, logical rhythm. And it's inside every single one of us. But nature, the unnatural man does not run on it. They don't know it. So they have their own structure that they run on, and it's absolutely 100% incompatible with me. So I've got my awesome woohoo thing over here, and I'm comfortable with it because I've mastered trailblazing. It's the natural business path. It's the natural life path, and they're so compatible. There's my subconscious mind, there's Mother Nature, there's my natural business plan, and there's my natural life plan, and it's all like synchronized in this beautiful ebb and flow of life, and it's wonderful. And the only time I have a problem is when these assholes come in to tell me that I'm doing it wrong. And then my Raz goes, what? Filter, closed-minded. No, don't Raz. Get over here, Raz. Open up your mind. Clean it all out. So I clean it all out. I open my mind back up, and I'm back on track. And before I learned that skill, these assholes would come along, hijack my Raz, and then, what's that? And it closed-minded. It's like I got this gorgeous scope, and as soon as a noisy know-nothing comes along, it would right there, and it would just focus. And it always steer me way off, far away from my fruit. And I'm like, my fruit's over here. Where are you going? And this is really the message. Take this with you. The only time it took me a problem, the only obstacle I had was the can't doers, the vaunters, and the noisy know-nothings. They were literally the only obstacle. So imagine you're having this beautiful, beautiful journey through the forest, and it's going smooth. And then this asshole just jumps in front of you and goes, you're going to get obstructed. You are the obstruction. You are the obstruction. Well, you got to protect yourself against obstructors. You are the obstructor. So you finally shove the asshole out of the way and you continued your journey. And you're having a great journey. It's going along, and then another one. You're going to get obstructed. You need to prepare yourself from obstructors. You are the obstructors. You are a battery charger selling batteries for your own battery charger. Get out of my way. So it's a thing. You got to learn about this. And when you understand this is really the summation of any business journey. This is what you're going to be up against, people. This is it right here. You're going to have these assholes trying to sell obstruction-proof insurance to you while they obstruct you, telling you that you got to be prepared for the next obstructor who comes along when they're the obstructor. So I learned this. And after I learned this, it took me almost 2 years to learn this. It took me about 18 months to learn it. It took me another 3 months to master it. And then, I have it down. But I need to tell you this because it took me 18 months to figure this out. After that, though, mastered, fine. Once you know about it. So take this with you. Prepare for this. This is the only obstacle you're going to have. It's not a problem of, oh my God, you have got to know that you are going to have noisy know-nothings, vaunters, and can't-doers. Worst fucking things in the world. These are the salesmen of problems. They're not selling you solutions. They are selling you problems. Learn this. They are selling you problems. Oh my God, they were annoying. And once I realized that a good portion of my friendships at that time were vaunters and can't-doers, I got rid of those. And this is really where I started to take a step back. And I also understood that I've got 3 resources. And this is really the difference between somebody who's wealthy and successful and somebody who's not. When you are successful and wealthy, you have 3 resources that you do not fucking squander. And that is your time, your energy, and your headspace. Those things are they are gold to you. Your mind is your greatest asset. And suddenly you are really careful with what goes into your mind because the garbage takes away from your headspace. So you want to make sure you have good quality nourishment in your brain at all times because that is going to detract from your energy, your time, and your headspace if it's not quality information. So you got to make sure of that as well. Now that's your 4. So you've got your 3 resources, which is time, energy, and headspace. You have your asset, which is your mind, and then you have your money. This is the only idiom I get behind. A fool and his money are easily parted. And it is fucking true. So when you have these 3 resources that you value and also your mind as a valuable asset, your money is suddenly really hard to part with you. It's amazing how suddenly you're not going to let your money go because you don't give your time, your energy, or your headspace to a bunch of noisy know-nothings. And you also protect your mind from a lot of that noise. And because you have those things in place, you're suddenly very selective about what you learn. When you do learn something, you are really strategic about who is allowed access to you. And that suddenly allows you to really get in perspective the noisy know-nothings, the can't-doers, and the vaunters. And when you have that gorgeous combination, you are fucking abuse-proof. You are like, stand out of my way, I'm coming through. So one of my agendas was not just, I want the fruit. And this is a big deal. It's everybody listen to me because this is really the fucking point. You're going to choose the fruit you want. And you're going to choose the ethical path. But there's two ethical paths. There's the unethical path, and we're all going, oh, I don't want that. We all know that. But there are two ethical paths. There is the natural ethical path. And then there is the man-made unnatural ethical path. Now, the problem is the man-made unnatural ethical path is actually not ethical. It looks it, but they cheat. There's a lot of dirty, oily shit that happens called salesmen. So they make it look like it's ethical when it's not. It's ethical. It's unethical in denial. So be aware of that. Now, you're not just choosing your fruit. You're also choosing the path. So this was me, is I chose my fruit, but I also chose my path. I wanted it ethical, but I didn't just want it ethical. I wanted 12 ethics. I want it natural, and I want it to actually nourish my subconscious mind because I'm going to be working literally like all the fucking time because I love my work. I am that kind of a person who loves my work and what I do, which means I'm going to want to have fun. I'm going to want to enjoy this. And every time they came along to tell me you can't do it that way, can't doers, it was because I was scaring them because I'm a trailblazer. Because they were looking at me trailblazing going, oh my God, and they swooped in to save me without my fucking consent. I had more saviors. Oh my God, it was a pandemic of saviors. We are in a savior pandemic, people. Holy fucking shit. I had more people stepping in to try and save me from myself when I sure as fuck didn't need it. And they're sitting there going, oh, you're protected? You're going to be saved. I am not needing to be saved. I need you to get out of the way. And once I understood that I had this massive obstacle of just these assholes in my way, oh, it solved everything. It really solved everything. So when you choose whatever path you are on, it really requires your discernment to, this is it right here, is understanding the assholes who are going to obstruct you. And they're going to appear as helpful. And they're not. They're going to appear as giving you advice. And it's not. They are not giving you advice. They are not helpful. And there's a lot of just bullshit that because you don't have ABC, you're not going to be able to manage it. And then when you have these quirks that really are just Mother Nature's natural way of human beings developing, the only reason why they're even noticeable traits or characteristics is because society doesn't fit with them. And, I've had these things about me my whole life, and it never occurred to me. It was nothing to me. It still is nothing to me. I watched one YouTube video, didn't even know it was ADHD. And it's like, oh yeah, these are the traits. And I'm like, so this is where it's coming from, is I never had what is wrong with me? I never had that. I never had why is this weird about me? I just had this weird thing of, I just can't do schedules. I just can't do schedules. They are not compatible with me because they are not Mother Nature. Man's made schedules are not compatible with me because I'm just completely 100% tuned into Mother Nature. So that's really not going to work for me. So I just won't do it. I won't do it. I'll find something else. But this is what I've noticed is I do exist at a much faster pace in time. My frequency is fucking insane. And I know this, which means I have to have a lot of variety. And there's a lot of ebb and flow because that's the way Mother Nature is. And this is the other real kicker. This is something that's interesting for me, like really fascinating. When I was in my trauma, I was juggling over 30 obstacles and problems at all time. 30 constant balls juggling. When I healed my mental illness, now mind you, I was there for 40 years. So 40 years of constantly juggling 30 balls of fire. Okay. As soon as I healed, I landed myself in a position where I was like, well, I don't have anything to juggle now. Wow, look at all this energy and head space. So I invented 30 balls of not fire to juggle because my brain adapted around juggling balls of fire for 40 years. So this is now a walk in the park. I'm like, all right, this is nothing. I got to New York City and I was like, wow, this place is easy because I came from fucking hell. And yeah, it's when you grow up in trauma hell and then you get to New York City and it's a cakewalk because you grew up in trauma hell. So I'm sitting here with this massive, I got no, I'm like, what am I going to do? Now I get to choose which balls I want to juggle. And I've chosen to do I'm going to do 14 books all at the same time because that's the workload that I've adapted to. And it's knowing what you can do, what you can't do, what you enjoy, what is in your natural self. And this is really important, is making sure that what you select nourishes you and not a trauma. That's a big one. Is whatever you do choose, make sure it is nourishing your growth and not your deterioration. This is really a big deal because a lot of people don't know about this. You either will nourish, a choice will nourish your growth, or it will nourish your deterioration. And a lot of people nourish their deterioration without realizing they are nourishing deterioration. So they deteriorate faster. A lot of people don't know what growth feels like. So they have no idea when they feel growth what it is. It's foreign to them. Other people have never felt growth. So they don't know anything about what it looks like. You experience the feeling of growth when you experience the following: freedom and joy. When you feel freedom and joy at the same time, think back in your memory, go all the way back in your entire memory and ask yourself, when was I feeling free and had joy at the same time? When was the last time you felt those two emotions? Because those feelings is growth. Freedom and joy. That is what growth feels like. It is truly it's beautiful. And there's going to be a lot of people who are like, I have no idea what that feels like. Yeah, then you don't know. And that's okay. That's the journey you're on, is to pursue the feeling of freedom and joy. And now this is interesting because I was there for quite a while where I had freedom and joy. And oh my God, it was the best time of my life. It really was. I loved it so much. But I also had this place where every time I left freedom and joy, I went around this group of people and that triggered, well, literally my slave mind. It triggered my slave mind and I could feel it. So I would be freedom, joy, and then I'd get around this group of people and I would go into full panic mode of, I can feel it. I'm around something really, really bad. And I figured it out. And then when I got away from it and I went back to, okay, I feel freedom and joy, it's extraordinary. The other thing that I noticed that was a fantastic formula that I found was what you love to do, what event or where you love to do it, and who you love to do it with. So it's what you love to do, your interest, but also sharing it with that person. That is like the perfect cocktail of everything. It's like the best thing in the world. I love that so much. And the hardest thing I had to learn was your friends are the people they're your teammates you find in your journey while you're going through the game. So while you're pursuing the game of life, while you're going through your journey, you're going to find teammates who are on the same journey as you. And they might be a little further behind, they might be further in advanced, but you're going to the same place. And those are the people who nourish you and nourish your growth along the path. And those are your teammates. They're elevator people. They're your grow people. And once you realize that you're not going to have friends before you've walked the journey. Friendships are the people you find during and in the journey. So if you're sitting here at the beginning of the journey going, well, I don't have any friends. Well, that's because you haven't gone on the journey yet. You don't find friends until you're on the journey. And if you're not on a journey and you're finding friends, that's not going to be good, because that means you have found stagnant swamp friends or stagnant oasis friends, which means if you're not planning on growing, then those are the friends you've got, which means when you do start growing, you're going to lose those friends. So now you have to choose between growth friends and growing, which you're not going to find growth friends until you grow, versus oasis stagnant friends. And I love the phrase training wheel friends, because training wheel friends was a phrase that I invented to help my subconscious mind process. These are great training friends, but they might not be the real thing. So I wouldn't get attached, and it kept me in evaluation and practice mode. And if we got past the difficult part and I didn't grow faster than them, okay. But if we did, then, I wasn't torn up about it. So training wheel friends was a great way to keep my perspective on where it needed to be as I go through my journey. And once I realized that about friendships, it was this wonderful realization of, oh, I'm not supposed to have friends yet because I haven't been on my journey. I'm starting my journey. So these are the people who I pick up along the way, which is just, it's wonderful. There's a lot of truth to the anime One Piece, a lot of truth. So this is all I have to say about that. And that's it. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.